Welcome back to Manosphere Daily. Let's jump into the video.
Some men will choose a life of solitude, simply because they've been so hurt by women in the past. They don't know how to trust women, and honestly, they don't even know if it's worth it. So if this man is willing to let you into his heart, and he's willing to work on things, he's gonna require patience and reassurance. But know that if you're in that spot, he's not gonna let you go.
Emotional connection? More like walls up, doors shut.
Here's some crazy research for you. So a third of men, 33%, a little over a third of men between the ages of 18 and 29 are not only single, but they're not actively looking for a partner. The same study said that by the year 2030, that 45% of women between the ages of 20 and 45 will be single. So I've got a question for the men, because I see it all the time in my comments. Most of my comments are filled with guys saying we're done. We're not looking. We like our peace. I need some more talk from you guys. Tell me why you're done. Tell me why you don't want to have a partner in life. Tell me why it's more worth it to be single than to have a partner. Even if you weren't to remarry, just to have a partner. I mean, I've talked to a lot of men. I've got my answers, but I want to hear it in the comments. So please, drop it in the comments.
Women who get partnership, super rare breed.
I'm not gonna lie, it was the worst thing ever growing up and realizing that men are losers, bro. And not in the way that, like, they don't have money or, like, cars or houses. It's, like, the way they think, the way they speak to women, the way they treat women, the way they mistreat women, actually. And just, like, their view of the world and their mindset is just, like, so off. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like as a young child, as a young girl, we're raised to think that men are just so strong and the saviors and, like, just supposed to, like, hold us up, but they can't even hold themselves up. Matter of fact, they expect us to do it. No, I'm through. I'm cool on it. Bye.
Entitlement and delusion? Yeah, that's a major turnoff.
Let's talk about this article. I've had a lot of people want me to do videos about this, so let's fucking go. I'm a female dating coach for men, and like 98% of my audience is male. So I want to offer some insight. By no means am I trying to start arguments. Actually, what the fuck am I saying? Of course there's going to be arguments. Okay, here it goes. Women don't need men like how they used to. So what does that mean for men? I mean, women couldn't even open up a bank account until like the 1970s. Not to mention we're still trying to close the wage gap in 2022. The reality is that heterosexual men have been first place for a long time. So now that our culture has made you question that, of course there's going to be a backlash on the male side. So let's break that down. Women don't need a man's paycheck to live. This is a good thing. Women no longer have to feel like they're sex objects, and men no longer have to feel like they're success objects. Win-win for everyone, for the most part. So what was happening before is that women were letting their men get away with a lot because she needed his paycheck to live. Now that women are self-sufficient, they're expecting more from their men. Equal to what men expect, actually. So what do women want? Well, according to the article, we want emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values. So get this, the reason why dating seems so much harder for men nowadays is because society did a really crappy job in teaching men how to have deep connections, how to be good communicators. This is where dating coaches come in, but before my shameless plug. So to provide an insight to the frustration behind women when it comes to dating and why we're looking for better men is because in society, we are still expected to parent as if we don't have work and work as if we aren't a parent. Whereas men's work-home balance hasn't really changed that much. Women are looking for men to take that emotional and physical labor, some of it off of their plate. Being good communicators and having deeper connections shows us that you can do that. And for all the commenters claiming that relationships aren't worth it anymore. Hate to burst your bubble, kid, but men are typically happier and healthier when they're partnered. No matter how hard you fight it, you'll always crave intimacy. So what do men have to do? Men have a key role in this transformation, but only if they go all in. It's going to take that kind of commitment to themselves, their own mental health, to the kind of love they want to generate in the world. Will you step up? I love the way this article ends. And honestly, I believe you will. You have to. Dating will never go back to the way things were when it was easier. Because that would mean taking away rights from women, which is kind of already happening in America, but I digress. And from my experience, men are emotional creatures in the best type of way. And you can learn to harness that power to attract the exact woman that you're looking for. And I can teach you how. Shameless plug, I had to do it. DM me or get at me in the comments, and I hope this is helpful.
Daily coaches galore, but where's the real connection?
This idea of the male loneliness epidemic, I think needs to be looked at. Some of these guys are lonely. That's true. But part of the reason is that they're looking at their options and they're like, I can't do it. Like, this is not appealing to me anymore. So they're feeling lonely. There is a segment of guys that are feeling lonely because they don't want you anymore. Like, they're not drawn to you anymore. So they would love to be with a woman who acts like a woman, who's feminine, who's respectful, who's loyal, who's, not going to cheat, who's not going to, their phone's not going to be, shady as what, who's not going to be posting like all naked pictures online all the time looking for male attention while you got a boyfriend here that you got one foot out the door, who's not going to feel like, you can't ask her what she, hey, like, what do you want to bring to the relationship? How dare you? They're looking for like a quality woman and they don't see it. So a lot of those men, it's not all guys who are just trying to seal the deal and can't make it happen. Is that some of it? Sure. But there's also guys who could seal the deal and don't want to. They're just like, well, I'm going to spend a boatload of money. I'm going to spend a boatload of time. And like, what's in it for me? Really, at the end of the day, am I getting any of my boxes checked in this? So they're choosing to just be lonely, and just because they're like, where are all the good women? Where have they gone?
Peace, quiet, and a growing bank account were good things.
To me, the male loneliness epidemic comes down to a simple metaphor. It's like a man standing in a room full of open doors. He's complaining to anyone who will listen that he's trapped, not because there's no way out, but because he refuses to walk through a door unless there's a cold beer, a round of applause, and a woman on her knees waiting for him there. Women aren't asking for that much. They're just highlighting the ways that they have been robbed historically and are currently still being robbed as men weaponized feminism against them. A lot of women just wanted the opportunity to work, and now men are trying to enforce rigid patriarchal systems while also expecting their wife to work 40 hours a week. Maybe they want a full-on trad wife who somehow is educated and knows things about the world, but not too much to the point that she's going to tell you that you're wrong or is going to challenge you on anything you say. They want a mother figure who they can have sex with anytime they want and who will raise their children and will also pick up a job if for some reason their household isn't making enough. I don't know about y'all, but if I were really that desperate and lonely, I would look in the mirror and figure out why women are not fawning over me. Because most of the time it's simple shit that women are asking for, and they are giving you the instruction manual. Then you're taking the manual, throwing it out the window, and saying, man, women's expectations are so unrealistic. If they actually really loved women and appreciated women for all that women are, and not just the type of woman that they envision and fantasize about, then they would be taking every single thing that women are saying about why they're not dating as many men and why they're being so selective. Then they would find that there's very, very fixable things and very easy things that they can do to make women feel safe, to make women feel heard, and to make women want to open up their house and their bed to a random man who could potentially harm them. Prioritize safety and comfort for women, and they will give you that warmth and that tenderness that y'all are so badly craving. But instead, you're blaming them for the issue that you created. Women don't want to dominate in a relationship. They want a partner. And they also don't want to have to submit. It's not that hard.
Lonely but not miserable. I'll take that.
Is it just me, or have we noticed that men, they know the true definition of loneliness? Now let me expand on that. So when dating apps, we know that it's a fact. Guys have a way harder time on dating apps than females do. In terms of just getting attention whatsoever, a female can go on a dating app and get matches where sometimes guys get 0 matches at all. So imagine how much of a hit to your ego and how depressing that would actually be. So I do feel for men in that case, because that's something that females don't experience as often. It's very rare for a female to experience that, and it's much more common for a male to experience that. Two, when we're single, we have male friends and girls still may have male friends in relationships too. But I'm just saying, when you're single and you have male friends, they're usually doing things that a boyfriend might do for you. So little gestures like picking you up, messaging you more. So we still have that role being played by a friend, even though it's not a boyfriend. It's still little aspects of what they do is what a boyfriend would do. So it's not something that guys experience because girls don't do these gestures for their male friends. So just something to think about. I think that we have to give men a little bit more credit. Like we don't experience loneliness as much as they do, and it must be tough.
Standing in a room full of closed doors and they're not opening anytime soon.
The solution to this so-called male loneliness epidemic is clearly that men need to like women more. And let me explain. Men are separated into two camps, okay? You have men that like women and men that don't like women. Men that don't like women are the majority and they are in community with each other. Men that like women are the minority and they're in community with each other and with women. Both groups of men struggle with male loneliness in different ways, but it is both because of the fact that men don't like women. Let's start with the men that don't like women. When I say men that don't like women, I'm not necessarily talking about like violent, abusive men. I'm talking about men that don't care for women, right? These men might love women romantically. They might love their girlfriend. They might love their mum. They might be sexually attracted to women. However, they're not interested in women. Like if their best guy friend brings his girlfriend, they're not going to ask her lots of questions about what she does because they literally don't care about women. They might not even realize that they don't like women, but they don't like women. These men are lonely because they're not fulfilled by their community, a community of men that doesn't like women, a community of men that has not unlearned their internalized patriarchy that makes them abhor vulnerability, connection, all that which they associate with women. So these men are not emotionally fulfilled by the other men they're in community with, and they're only emotionally fulfilled when they have a partner. The men in this group that do okay are the ones with girlfriends or the ones that have more access to intimacy and romance with women, the ones that are better looking, the ones that maybe have more dating experience, the ones that are more confident, the ones that are more socially intelligent and are better at pretending to be in this group just so that they can get women. These are the men in this group that do okay when it comes to loneliness. And obviously the other side of that spectrum would be incels, men that don't like women and can't get women, and they would be the loneliest of the men in the camp of men that don't like women. And then you have the men that like women. Obviously all of my friends that are men are in this camp. These men tend to have a lot of female friends. However, I've spoken to all of my guy friends at length about this male loneliness epidemic, and what they say is that even though they have really close female friends, and a lot of them will have like one or two like best guy friends that are also in this camp that they can really be vulnerable with, the world is dominated by these men. So when they're, at school, in the workplace, and they find themselves in a sea of these men that clock a man and assume, that they're going to be in this camp because most men are in this camp. And then as soon as they realize that the man is in this camp, they're like immediately like energetically ostracized, right? Like they're never going to fit in with these men unless they're really good at faking it. That's why they feel the loneliness. So these men feel lonely because of these men who don't like women. And these men feel lonely because they don't like women. And this whole male loneliness epidemic would be solved if they just all liked women. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
What women take for granted: flowers, compliments, and genuine connection. We get none of that.
I know this video is going to trigger a lot of people, but I do not give a rat's. Why you should not get in a relationship and settle down if you're beneath the age of 25. Now, if you're under the age of 25, the chances of your relationship lasting long term is very low. Most girls that you'll deal with in this age range will probably be in their party phase. They'll probably be in their hoe phase, as some people call it. And they're definitely going to be inexperienced because of how young they are. This means that they won't be able to handle a long-term relationship at this stage of their life. Let's say you guys do get together at this stage. It's only a matter of time before you or her might want to experience something new. This is because of how young you are. You haven't experienced enough in life. You most likely don't know what you truly want. You probably don't know what you like, what you dislike, just because of your inexperience. And experience will come with time and age. And what happens when a lot of guys get in relationships is that they fall off. They stop going to the gym. They get very comfortable because they found their partner, you get me? You start losing yourself. You stop caring about how you look. And this is just a recipe for disaster, you get me? And more than likely, you probably haven't found your purpose in life. You need to achieve your goals and become financially successful, especially as a man, as a provider and protector. Now, unless you're ready to support a household, then I suggest you do not get in a relationship. Build yourself up to become the complete man before you settle down.
Most men only getting flowers when they're 6 feet under.
And that wraps up today's episode of Manosphere Daily. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified as soon as a new video is out. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.